I want to talk about the power of storytelling. And not just me sharing my story, but you and all of you sharing your story, no matter how small. Fun fact, did you know that 250 million Instagram stories are shared every single day? 175,000 hours are uploaded every single day to YouTube. And get this, 11,000 books are published every single day. This just proves how stories unite us, connect us, how the human condition needs stories to survive. In fact, even when we sleep, our minds tell us stories. Even when we sleep, our body knows that we need stories so much that it gives us dreams. When you share your story and you don't bottle it up, it can create a dynamic for change. When you share your story, there are actually chemicals that go off in yourself that create healing. And when someone listens to your story, it also gives chemicals in their brains that create healing. And so at 13 years old, I was taken advantage by somebody in a leadership position. Somebody who should have protected me, guided me, loved me, took advantage of me. And when it was finally found out, my mom said, "We're going to go to the police." And I said, "Mama, please no. I just can't do it." And so for 6 years, I bottled up that story. And the problem with bottling up stories is just like when you tell your story, it creates healing. When you bottle up your story, it creates a disease inside of you it just starts to fester. And that's what it did to my life. My sexual abuse led to a ravaging eating disorder that left me close to 100 pounds. It finally led to an almost daily heroin addiction and behavior that was very dangerous. And so one day, my story switched. And I walked into a church and was met with the best story. You might have heard of his name. His name is Jesus Christ. And he came down in order that we not only are able to rewrite our earthly story, but our eternal story. And so I didn't share my story even after that day until I heard that my abuser had been arrested for abusing a girl in the very same situation that I was in. It was considered his first offense. And I knew at that point in my life how not sharing my story not only affected me negatively, but affected other people. And so I said, no more. I'm going to share my story. So I went back to the police and told them what had happened. Problem is the people that knew about my story, who had experienced actually the same abuse at the hands of that man, didn't want to share their story for fear of being rejected and the shame that came with it. And so I was told, we cannot go forward with this case. So I figured, okay, well, if we can't prosecute him in the law, then I'm going to share my story with anybody that will listen. And so that's what I did. I went on podcasts, I spoke on stages, I wrote books, I blogged for 10 years. And over 15-year time, I was able to share my story of abuse and my other stories of my life with over 1 million people. But for me, that wasn't enough, because there are way more people that are experiencing abuse every single day. And it is imperative that we share our stories and our testimonies so that the truth can be known and people can be set free. And so I one day saw a pageant queen talk, and then the next week I saw another pageant queen talk. And I thought, well, that's weird. I've never in my entire life experienced a pageant queen. But they both said the same thing. If you have a story to share, you put on a crown and a sash and people start paying attention. And so, I stand here before you today, proud mother of 7 children, wife of 21 years, and your USOA Mrs. Austin 2024. And I have one mission: to bring light to the darkness and set the captives free. And I can think of no better way than to do this by sharing my story. And so I want to encourage you, if you have a story, share it. You never know who you're going to affect. And if you have a story and you haven't shared it, please tell someone. Because I believe that it only takes one candle to bring light to the darkness. And we are that candle. And your story is its light. Thank you.